Behind me is El-Jimmal, the newest UNESCO World Heritage Site in Jordan. This ancient Nabataean, Roman and Byzantine ruin is part of the Badiyah, which is the northern basalt deserts of Jordan. For the next 2 days, I'll be exploring the northern Jordanian borderlands. I'll be travelling west from el-Jimmal to a place called Qais, which sits on the Syrian-Israeli-Palestinian border near the disputed Golan Heights. Along the way, I'll be exploring Roman and Byzantine ruins like el-Jimmal and meeting the people that live along this border. Join me as I explore the northern borders. So you can hear the calls of prayer behind me. So el-Jimmal sits right in the north of Jordan. We just arrived here after exploring the eastern deserts, and we're possibly about maybe less than 10 miles anyway from the Syrian border, which is that way. So this is part of the Badiyah, the great basalt plains that we've been exploring in the east, which continues way north across the border into Syria. And this was effectively, 2,000 years ago, this was the Roman frontier. The Nabataeans who built Petra were here before, and they kind of laid the roots, the foundations of this great basalt city. And the Romans came along, the Byzantines, the Umayyads, and eventually it was abandoned. But now it still forms a frontier with Syria. So yeah, the scale of this place is actually impressive. Everything's kind of low-lying, but there's enough structures left. I imagine the locals, the Bedouins, would have taken a lot of these stones to build their own structures and buildings over the century. But yeah, we're following in the footsteps of countless ancient civilizations. It's pretty cool, I have to say. So, as you can see, everything is made from the basalt rocks that were deposited here by lava flows or volcanic eruptions millennia ago. And the Nabataeans, the Romans, all used it to build houses, palaces, castles, watchtowers. And it's still here. This site is impressive. Before we came to Jordan, I didn't know this place existed, I'll be honest. We discovered it's the newest UNESCO listed place in Jordan. It was only inscribed about a year ago, or less than a year ago even. And I was expecting to find it kind of busy, perhaps, but there's absolutely no one here. We turned up at the gates. There was a security guard, gave us a map in Arabic. I was hoping to find a guide, perhaps, but there's no one. So I'm kind of having to look up the history and just kind of find out via Wikipedia, basically. There's not a huge amount of information about this place. So I hope what I'm telling you is correct. But yeah, again, we're into our second week now in Jordan. And I'm just amazed at pretty much everywhere we go, even not Petra, but or Wadi Rum, but everywhere else we've been, there's been almost no one around. I mean, here we literally have this entire UNESCO site to ourselves. There's nobody else here. It's a sad state of affairs, really, because Jordan is not red listed or anything like that. No governments advise against travelling here. The only place they advise travelling to is the Syrian border. But this place is fine. We're still a good 5 to 10 miles away from that. Even then, I know a lot of guides in Syria who are welcoming tourists back there anyway. So I'm tempted to cross over myself if we get the opportunity. Impressive ruins. I'd recommend visiting if you're ever up in the north of Jordan. If you come soon, there'll be no one else around either. It's mental. I was hoping to talk to some people. There's not even any locals here. There's no one. better made places. Oh, we found some people. Some kids who are hacking apart something or other. So yeah, the only other people here are a bunch of kids using it as a playground, I think. Hello, salam alaikum. Kaif halak? Alhamdulillah. How are you guys? I'm Richard.
No. What's your name?
Richard.
I'm Zim Muhammad.
Zim Muhammad. Hello. Making YouTube.
America?
England.
America?
No, England.
England.
Inglisi.
إنجليزي.
Inglisi.
Arabic.
Arabic. Oh no.
بدي Arabic?
No. You speak English? No. I can say Ma Ismuk. What's your name?
اسمي
Ismi. Yeah.
كرم.
Karam.
What's your name, Karam?
Karam.
What's your name?
Ma
Muhammad.
Ismuk.
What's your name?
Mohammed. Nice to meet you guys.
You're
You're from Jordan?
Palestine or Israel?
Huh?
Palestine or Israel?
Palestine or Israel? Everyone's political here. Even the kids, like maybe 7, 8, 9 years old or whatever, they're asking if I'm for Palestine or Israel. I have to say I'm pretty neutral in terms of the conflict. I'm not going to get into that necessarily, but around here I don't think you can get away with saying you're pro-Israeli even if you were. That would not go down well with the locals. There we have it, this once mighty frontier city of El-Jimal, now just a playground for kids. So that was a peaceful yet politically charged still introduction to northern Jordan. So we'll be leaving El-Jimal behind us now and heading west to a little known town or city, I'm not even sure actually, place named Mafraq, which is just north of Amman. And we'll be spending the night there, and then from there tomorrow morning we'll be heading up towards the meeting points of the Syrian, Palestinian, Israeli Golan Heights borders and boundaries.
Syria. In 400 meters, keep left to stay on Baghdad International Highway, Route 10.
So we are back on the Baghdad International Highway, which runs all the way from the border, well, all the way to Baghdad, obviously, and then from the eastern desert border, which is now about 300 kilometers away, and it cuts all the way across Jordan, and now it's kind of running parallel to the Syrian border as well. So you kind of get a sense of how Jordan as a country really is a kind of crossroads or meeting point in the Middle East itself. There's a huge tank on the roundabout on the way into Mafraq. Oh, and more army bases. Maybe we shouldn't film. So yeah, down here.
Exit the roundabout.
Seems like a military town, or I guess because it's so close to Syria. So we've been seeing loads of signs for Syria now. Welcome to Mafraq. Getting honked at by the soldiers, overtaking us on these little lanes. So here we are in the glitzy heights of Mafraq. Seems like a very military city from our little drive through the suburbs from the highway. Haven't got much planned here, to be honest. There's no discernible sights you can find on Google Maps or anything like that. But tomorrow we're heading off pretty early, following the highway west again, and then heading up towards the border with Syria. All right, good morning from Mafraq. We have just picked up some coffee from the art cafe, where you can indulge in some fresh brews with some worldwide international art. A surprising little gem in the busy military and industrial city of Mafraq. So we got a little bit of spare time this morning before we head up north again towards the border, and we're just going to check out and see if there's anything to do in Mafraq. Not sure that we'll find much, but we're going to head down to the train station. If you were following the earlier videos, you would have seen that we followed the Hejaz Railway. Actually, there was a branch that came up here from Amman, and the Ottomans built a station here, which is why this town, a city, exists in the first place, really, in its modern form. Anyway, Mafraq itself dates back to the 2nd century BC, apparently, built by some ancient civilization, possibly Nabataeans, not sure. But the Ottomans came along later, built the station, and called this place Mafraq, which means crossroads, because here you have two roads meeting. You have the Baghdadi International Highway, which heads to Iraq, and you have the Syrian Highway, which goes north. So this is where the north, south, east, west roads literally collide. So a borderland, if ever there is one. So we've just come into one of the best rated falafel. This place is in Mafraq. And what have we got? We got falafel. Fool, which is a famous Arabian breakfast. So this is the place we just had breakfast. There's the guy. Shukran. Not sure what it's called. You can probably, if you read Arabic, you'll be able to tell. But yeah, that was a crazy cheap breakfast. I gave him a 20 for a plate of fool, a plate of falafel and gherkins and 2 waters. And yeah, he gave me like 19 change. And so that was like a dinar for a whole breakfast. Proper friendly. So yeah, right by the train station. We're going to try and find the train station now. So yeah, this is the Mafraq High Street. Everything you could need here. Aha. Hello. Right, I think we've found the train station. The old Ottoman station, still here. So the guy in front of the station said we couldn't take any pictures or video on our video cameras, but we can take phone pictures and phone videos. So here I am. And, I'm not quite sure why. It might be a bit more security here because we're closer to the border. But I'll show you the trains itself. Oh yeah. So this is Mafraq station. This is one of the old Ottoman cars. And this line continues, I think, to Syria, to Damascus. So yeah, quite cool. Cool piece of history. There's no one else really around apart from the security guard, who was in the end quite friendly, but just didn't want to take too many pictures and videos. There we go, that was Mafraq station. But yeah, again, that's pretty much probably the one major thing to do here is to see the train station. And rumour has it that they've restarted heritage trains from Amman up to here to visit El-Jimal, which was the UNESCO site we saw yesterday. So that'd be a cool day trip, but there wasn't, I don't think they run very often. But yeah, this was Mafraq, the crossroads. The crossroads of Jordan. It still is a crossroads today. Trains, cars, trucks, travellers, etc. An excellent breakfast of falafel and fool if you ever make it here. So now we're heading further north, heading up to Qais, closer to the border. Welcome to Qais. We booked a few tours to find out a bit more about this place, with a place called an institution called Beit Al Baraka, and they're like a local kind of homestay cooperative, community-based tourism initiative who have kind of reinvigorated the tourism industry here, which is really interesting. And they do a ton of experiences, whether it's beekeeping or stonemasonry, where you learn how to build like a Roman. And we're going to be taking one of the tours around the archaeological site, which is here, which dates back a long, long time, as everything seems to in Jordan. And we'll be learning more about sort of the tourism industry here, which has unfortunately suffered a lot. But these guys are kind of trying to be positive and kickstart the industry again with some grassroots tourism. So yeah, this is basically one of the last towns, villages, before you hit not just the Syrian border, but the Golan Heights, which are kind of over this way. And when we get to the ruins, apparently we should be able to sort of see into all of these different regions, territories and countries that surround it. This is kind of like the tip of Jordan almost. And it's a very different place to everywhere else we've been as well. So it'll be interesting to see yeah, what life is like here, what the history is all about. All right, so we just met Ahmed, who's going to be our guide, and hopping in the front. So you were born in these ruins.
Wow.
That's crazy. So Ahmed, who's showing us around today, he was actually born in the ruins that he's now guiding. Here he is. He's from Beit Al Baraka, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
This city, as I said, dated to the 3rd century BC, and it was a fortress. And in the Roman time, in the 64 BC, it became a Roman city. They built theaters, colonnaded streets, fountains, baths, and temples also. And the city reached like the top and the crowning achievement period, we can say it's the 2nd century AD. Then Byzantine period started. And after that, the conflicts started between Byzantine and Arab, and it was ended in 636 AD by the Battle of Yarmouk, if you heard about it. And we will see the location of this battle. It's in the north side of Qais. And then in 750, the city and all the Decapolis were destroyed by a strong earthquake. And after the earthquake, the city lost its importance. So there was a gap.
Yeah.
Until the 19th century, it was rediscovered, the city, by German traveler. His name Gottlieb Schumacher, and he used to work for the Turkish government building Al-Hijaz Railway. So after his visit, the community, they built their houses here because the ancient stones available, they took the stones from the Roman structures and they built houses because of the water sources around Gadara, because of the agricultural farms, and these houses, it was inhabited by the community until 1987. Yeah. So where we are right now is the house where I was born.
Oh,
Where
wow.
I grew up. So
This one here.
yes, this one
Yeah.
here.
Oh wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And actually I was born exactly in this room.
Yeah.
So when did your family move out?
1987.
1987.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So that's when everyone
Yes,
moved
I
out.
didn't move with them.
Yeah.
I stayed 3 days in my tent, but then they take me.
Oh, really?
Oh, right.
Yes, you have
Aw.
to go.
Did you
Yes.
not want to leave then?
Yes,
Or-
I don't want to leave. No.
Yeah.
No.
Yes, and I became guide because you see from this entrance of the theater, tourists used to come and ask for like toilet, water, and this stuff. There was no facilities like today. And I tried to talk in English with them. Then from practicing with tourists, I learned English and I decided to be a guide. In that time, I didn't know why people come here. I didn't know the importance of the city until I worked with the archaeologist, and they told me about the greatness of Gadara.
So yeah, fascinating. So we're just walking around the ruins of what is called Gadara. That's the name of the ancient city in Qais. And an incredible story from Ahmed, who was born in these ruins, didn't want to leave, and now he's still leading tours here, all through the season. It's amazing. Yeah, what a place to have lived as a child, and then I can see why he was unhappy to be forced off and to move.
So this was my playing ground. I told you that's access goes to my old house.
Yeah, it's
It's
amazing.
the only theater in the Decapolis in Jordan built with basalt stones.
Wow, so Ahmed used to play football between these columns, make a good goalpost. And then this area up here is now some sort of cafe restaurant. Again, empty because there's not many tourists. That used to be the school. So if you're ever in Qais, this is apparently the only place you can get beer. And what a place to have a cold one this would be. Oh, that's Lebanon? Okay. Yeah, we need to look at a map. Oh, so that's Lebanon there. So this is, can you see Syria as well or not?
This is Golan Heights next to us.
This is the Golan
65,
Heights.
yeah, occupied Syria.
Ah. Okay, cool. So we just made it to this panoramic lookout on the edge of the ruins. And from here you can see across into all the territories and countries. And Ahmed said he's going to tell us exactly what we can see. And he's also going to tell us what the British did here. So let's see what he has to say about us.
We are here now, the viewpoint, and this is the border line. As you can see it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So we said 4 countries, and these 4 countries, during the Ottoman period called Levant.
Mhm.
And in 1916, when England and France occupied this region, they divided by agreement between them called Sykes-Picot Agreement, and it was in 1916. Sykes is English, and Picot is French.
Mhm.
And here, there's a little river running by the gorge called Yarmouk River. So they said north of it Syria, south of it Jordan. Nowadays, if we drive by this road to this little town, is Jordanian town. Again, you see the second road, the road goes to the second village. That's also Jordanian village called Jordan Himma, which it means Himma from Hammam, hot spring. Can you see there is a little forest with minaret of mosque down here?
Yes.
This is called Syrian Himma, which it means it's not in Jordan and we don't have access to it.
Right. Okay.
So the gorge is the border line, but the river changed its direction and make half a circle around the little mosque here, and it's now in the north side of the river, which means it's not in Jordan. If you follow the cliff, you can see the white part of it. You can see Snake Road going up to Golan Heights, and you can see Israeli trucks
Right.
and Israeli cars
Yeah.
there. So this is the border line, and this valley called Yarmouk Valley, this is part of the Great Rift Valley, and it's the location for the Battle of Yarmouk between Arab and Byzantine in 636 AD.
Okay.
And the mountains next to us, this is Golan Heights.
Yeah.
So what's happened after 1916? In 1917, the Prime Minister of England, Balfour, he gave this part a home to the Jew. And the conflicts started. Before, all people used to live together. 1967, Israel occupied Golan Heights next to us, and part of the West Bank, of course, and part of Jordan Valley, part of Sinai, and it became more wars, and it's still occupied. Yes, and you are lucky today. You can see the snow in the far distance.
Yeah.
That's south of Lebanon. We
And
don't
that's
see it
Lebanon.
very often. So this is the highest mount in the region called Mount Hermon. It's 2,880 meters above sea level.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Jordan River started from that mount. Yes.
Yeah.
Then the river run and goes into the lake and exit
the Sea
from
of
the lake,
Galilee,
yes, Sea
yeah.
of Galilee, and goes through Jordan Valley. So it became the natural border line between West Bank and East Bank, which means Jordan and Palestine.
Okay.
Sea of Galilee is lowest part of earth fresh water. Let's see lowest part of earth salty
Okay.
water.
Yeah.
And it's called Sea of Galilee due to the mountains beyond called Galilee Mountains. And this is where Jesus lived.
Oh, okay. So this is biblical.
Exactly. This
Yeah.
is biblical places. And Jesus also made some miracles here. So he walked in the water. And in the north side of the lake, we can't see it. There is a city called Cana or Canaan. It's the
Yeah.
place where Jesus changed water to wine. Yes. And beyond the mountains, this the east coast of the Mediterranean.
Okay. Yeah.
So only 1 hour from here to the Mediterranean, 1 hour to Damascus, if there's no borders.
Okay.
We are in Qais here.
Yeah.
Damascus. Look, the distance
Yeah.
between
Yeah.
Qais and Damascus.
Not
Yeah, the
far
old
at
people,
all.
they told me that they used to go to Damascus, which is a shortcut, and there was like people goes around here, and Christian, Jew, Muslim, Jews, they used all people live together. So all the people they used to go, easy to go to Palestine, to Syria, to Lebanon, to Jordan,
Yeah.
and there was a train running here from Al-Hijaz Railway. After they built Al-Hijaz Railway, the people they used to go to the station down here from Qais, travel to Damascus, also to Istanbul. So they knew Istanbul later on, and to the Mediterranean, to the western side.
So it was really well connected
Yes.
before, but now because of the borders,
Yes.
it's quite isolated. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
What's it like living sort of around so many borders? Does it affect life in Qais at all, or is it just something you get on with? Or
It's sad actually. So you can see everything next to you, and you can't go.
yeah,
Especially for someone like me who lived in Europe for some years, and it was easy travel. you know, with the Schengen. So I remember I traveled from Austria to Germany to the Netherlands and Belgium, and no one asked me for passport. Here, you know, I never been to this site.
Never.
No.
Yeah.
If I want to go, I need visa. So the process started from Amman embassy, from the Israeli embassy in Amman. If I get the visa, I have to drive to this direction, opposite direction, like 30 kilometers, then enter to Beit Shan and make around inside Israel to come to here.
That's
Even
ridiculous.
it's 2 kilometers, you know.
Yeah.
Yes, it's closer than the place I can go, which is the
Yeah.
Jordan side.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I have a hiking trail here called Almond Trail. I would like to complete it to Sea of Galilee and call it a Peace Trail.
Yeah.
That's
So
amazing.
this is my
yeah.
dreams here. This is our feeling. Once I cried when I was in south of Lebanon, beyond that mountains, and I could, when I opened the map and I saw how I'm close to Qais, and I can't come because of Israel in the middle, and I have to drive back to Beirut to fly to Amman and come to Qais. Also, actually, about the war, like every some months, every some years, there is war here. We are affected, our business affected.
Yeah.
Why we don't live together? This is the question.
Yeah.
But we go back to the last century when people lived together. It's
Yeah.
easy. It's easy. We are all human beings. We can live together.
Yeah. Do you think one day you could complete your peace trail to the lake?
Me
or-
not. Me not. Maybe the second generation or new generation or the generation after me. I hope so, but I don't think so. And actually, to be honest, I many times I thought to leave the country.
Oh, really? To leave
Yes, and to
Jordan?
do business somewhere else, peaceful. But I built a name here, and I love my place. I like to show people my city, my places, and to tell them our message.
Yeah.
And especially for you, are YouTuber. I hope you will not delete anything from my speech and to tell the
No.
people to come here.
Yeah. Of course.
So you have a big duty to tell the people about the peace of Jordan. You told me about the beauty of Jordan, about the people, about people. They are kind and generous, and so this is the what we need actually.
Yeah.
We need the people to come here.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely. It's a wonderful place.
I'm sorry to complain.
No. No. Don't.
No. This is life.
Yeah. Of
This is
course.
what I want to
Yes,
show
yeah.
people, and
Yeah.
Exactly,
not
yes,
just the
yes.
pretty
Yes,
pictures. You know.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch the war next to me. I'm safe here, but I don't want to watch it. I
Yeah.
don't want to see the sky full of planes and to hear
Yeah.
bombs.
It's sad. Did the war in Syria affect you here at all? Or?
Yes, a long 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, from 2011, 2016, then back, 20 or 19 start COVID.
Yeah.
Last year started the war in Gaza.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's all affected
Yes, yeah,
tourism.
yes. You know, just we are like we dream, we are excited because we have many reservation. Suddenly something happened, and all
And it's
cancelled.
gone. Yeah.
Yes,
It's crazy. Difficult place to live, right?
Yeah. it is
sad.
beautiful place to live and difficult place.
Wow, we've come to this incredible geopolitical viewpoint, which is an amazing view, but also has a very somber, sad history behind it. And so our guide Ahmed was telling us that all of this used to be one land, really, under the Ottomans and before that. And then because of the Sykes-Picot Agreement in 1916, when the British came along, all the modern borders of this region were formed. And behind me, you can now see the Golan Heights. Way beyond that, in the distance, we could see Mount Hermon, snow-capped this time of year, and that's in Lebanon, and that's where the Jordan River begins its journey. The other way, you've got Syria, and then over here, you've got the Sea of Galilee, which is where Jesus walked on water. This is a biblical land, and it's now divided. And Ahmed was saying that 2 kilometers away is, the villages in the Golan Heights that have now been taken over by Israel. They're so close, you can see them from here. He can hike to the border, but he can't cross that border. To get there, he has to drive to Amman, get a visa, wait for that to happen, pay money for it, and then make his way to another border crossing 30 kilometers south of here, cross over if they let him, and then drive another 30 kilometers up to here to get it to the other side. He can't just walk over. It's it's crazy to think just how disruptive these borders are to the people that live here, and they've just sort of changed the face of Qais. It's an absolutely stunning viewpoint, but at the same time, the stories of the people here are just living on this border is hard to imagine, even stood here, what it's like. So this here is the Sea of Galilee I was talking about. That's where Jesus walked on water. This is the Golan Heights, occupied by Israel during the 6-Day War. Way beyond that is Mount Hermon, and that's Lebanon. And then over this way is, of course, Syria, and everything down here is Jordan. So there we go, back on top of the Beit Al Baraka rooftop. And when we first got here, I didn't actually realise, but behind me when I was speaking was the Golan Heights. So you can see into the occupied Syrian territory. So there we have it. We've seen the ancient ruins of Gadara and Qais, and we've seen the borders of Syria, Israel, the occupied Golan Heights, Jordan, and in the distance, Mount Hermon in Lebanon. It's amazing because I was in Lebanon maybe 2 or 3 years ago now, and it's so close, but you just can't. The only way for me to get there would be to probably fly from Amman, or to go to Istanbul or similar and fly from there. So yeah, it's bizarre. It's such open spaces here that you can see, but it's also a sense of claustrophobia because you literally can't go 10 miles up the road until you hit a border that you can't cross. So yeah, and tomorrow we're hitting the road again, heading right to the border this time. Good morning from Qais. So this morning we're heading up the road. This is sort of the last stop on this video. But we saw the border yesterday from the panoramic viewpoint at the ruins of Gadara. And today we're going to try and see if we can get a little bit closer. We can't cross, of course. But there's a road that runs north of here and sort of loops around following the valley and then meets up with the Jordan River and then heads south to meet the Dead Sea Highway, which is actually our next destination. So I'm not sure how far we're going to get. Claire's going to kindly drive us north so I can film, and yeah, we'll see if we can get a closer view of Syria, Golan Heights and Israel than we had yesterday, but no promises. Alright, so checkpoint ahead. This is where the borders really begin. So hopefully we can get through here. I don't see why we shouldn't, but sometimes they only let locals through into these kind of sensitive border areas, and there's quite a few police, so I'll turn off now. Alright, not too bad. They just pulled us over on the side of the road. Guys in normally there's been police that have been sort of pulling cars over, but those guys were definitely Jordanian army, I think. All they did was ask for our passports, had a quick look at them, asked where we're from, and then said we could carry on, no more questions. So easy. So yeah, now we're heading up into the Rift Valley, I think it's called. It's part of the huge Great Rift Valley. And on this side as well is the Yarmouk Forest Reserve. And this area was kind of pivotal during the Islamic conquests, because this is one of the final battles between the Byzantines and the Umayyads, I want to say, or the Islamic caliphates. Occurred around the 7th or 8th century AD, and then the Islamic fighters won that battle, the Battle of Yarmouk, and after that this entire area became heavily Islamized. So it's kind of a turning point in history, and now it's still kind of obviously a place of conflict as well, unfortunately. Not much has changed in that respect. So there's this twisting mountain road that's taking us down into the valley. So above us is Qais and the ruins of Gadara, where we were yesterday. And then we're sort of approaching all the villages that we could have seen from the panorama. So on the other side of this valley is Syria and the occupied Golan Heights. And then to the east is Israel. So we're now in Mokaba al-Tata. I'm not sure I said that correctly. But on the map, this looks like this is the last Jordanian settlement or village, town. Looks quite small. Before you hit the border, which follows the Yarmouk River, which effectively goes across the middle of the valley that we're sort of dipping down into at the moment. And yeah, ahead of me you can see that is the Golan Heights, probably less than a couple of miles away. And oh, this guy's just parked in the middle of the road, so you know you're in Jordan. So the other side, those hills over there, that is occupied territory. It has been since the Six-Day War, I believe, in 1967, I think 60s. So we're driving parallel to the Yarmouk River now, which is in the middle of the valley, and on the other side I could just see there are big border fences kind of separating this side from the other. So yeah, again, so close, but there's no way for people to cross. And it's like there's a few watchtowers, but all sort of interspersed with olive fields and Roman ruins, and yeah, it's just a strange landscape that's been carved apart by nature first, and then carved apart by people, basically. So we have made it right to the border. This road runs parallel to the Yarmouk River, which is the borderline, the natural borderline, which has now become a human borderline as well, between Jordan and the occupied Golan Heights, and then Israel or Palestine. And in the distance you can see the Sea of Galilee, and literally just on the other side of here, that is the Golan Heights, and that's as close as we're going to get to that from this side of the border anyway. Yeah, I think this is a fitting place to end this video, really. This is perhaps a mile away from Syria, Golan Heights and Israel, but unfortunately I can't go any further. Perhaps one day these borders will open up, they'll be able to be traversed by people, by travellers, more importantly by locals as well, by the people who live in Qais and the villages along here, and by the people who are living on the other side. You know, these borders have divided families, they've divided people, communities, religions, nations even. And it's a real shame that, you know, such a beautiful landscape is kind of marred by politics, geopolitics and conflicts, really. But yeah, it's been an interesting journey into Jordan's northern borderlands. Hopefully I've shown you a little taste of the history and the current political climate as well. And from here we'll be carrying along, continuing on the border, and then joining the Dead Sea Highway, which will be my next video.